How the F do you make new friends as an adult? Slowbox 2696 said. Regular accidental contact. Initially this sounds a little like stalking, so I'm going to have to explain a little. You made friends at school, college because you turned up to places to do something. The people that were there were secondary to your main goal or task. Basically you turned up to maths every day and so did the dude sitting 3 seats away. This is the regular accidental contact. As an adult, this only really happens at work and the age differences can be problematic. This is why people suggest joining sports teams or clubs that meet on a regular basis. You meet up to generic sport and of the 15-20 other people that do there might be 5 that are potential friends. The non-threatening nature of I'm here to do something is basically an excuse to have the regular contact where you find out more about these people and can develop a friendship. Since this friendship business requires regular contact, places like bars are often pretty poor, unless you are one of the regulars. Sports, hobby clubs, book groups are all the sort of places that replace the classroom of yesterday. Adult life makes most of your regular tasks revolve around a small group of people, workmates, family, flatmates. You need to find regular contact groups outside that subset. Bandit Cleaner 2 said. This is so true. One of the longest maintained friendships from college that I have was someone I met from being there to do something. It was pool. I was there to play pool and so was he, like clockwork. We would talk and chat and play a lot of pool month to month and year to year, never changing. After a few months we were friends and I'm still friends to this day. Same with a guy from math class, we became friends because we both had the same ugly weird shoes. Gray and yellow color combo just made no sense, lol. But we had multiple math classes together. He actually got me the high-paying job I have today and would be nowhere without him. Regular accidental contact is a blessing. Snowwood Tesludge said. Hobbies. Pursue them and find a local venue for it. Then just talk to people there doing what you're doing. McGiblet said. I'll give a specific shout-outs to tennis, pickleball and hiking in the United States. The ESTA runs tennis leagues around the nation, and you can find a team based on your skill level. Many teams do group lessons with a coach. Generally you'll get 5-10 group lessons for less than $100 a season. Pickleball courts are popping up everywhere. What I love is that when traveling by myself, I can just show up at a public court and generally find a game. The locals that are there every day all know each other, but most courts follow a challenger style where you just stack your paddles in the next 4-up play. I have friends that love to hike and say the hiking clubs in the area have been great for meeting others. One friend met his future wife at a hiking club gathering. All of my neighborhood friends are due to tennis, and I probably know 100 people from my 660 home neighborhood, and would consider 20 or so of them to be friends. I didn't know any of them 8 years ago when we moved in. I'd say I am on the middle of the introvert-extrovert spectrum. Not opposed to social situations, but definitely don't go out of my way to make conversation. Lamb Humor 1156 said. Work and hobbies usually work. I just stay friendly, joke out, ask plenty of questions. I find people really open up when they don't feel judged and they feel you are enthusiastically listening to them. Oftentimes as an adult, other adults aren't actively listening to your tales because they're so wrapped up in their own lives. If you listen first, really take time to get to know them and have a good time, joke, they generally start reciprocating pretty quickly. That's how I get along with people. Actual long-term adult friends are hard to come by. Always seems like if you are inconvenient, they aren't going 5-0 make time for you. I've got a couple now that I can call anytime though. Kukakachu 1988 said. I've probably got more friends as an adult in my 30s than I ever did in my early 20s and teens. I do exactly the same as you, just have a genuine interest in people and getting to know them. So long as they aren't me, then I find them fascinating. Even if you don't agree with all their views, it doesn't really matter. I agree with being positive and jokey as much as can be. I think a lot of people are looking for someone to offload on and it can be a lot to take in for anyone who isn't prepared. If you keep it fun and enjoyable though, I think it creates a bond where they will want to be supportive comes later. One thing I noticed too is I have a weird thing for faces and details about people. I used to have to pretend I didn't remember people when I was young because some classmates told me it was creepy. Now though, I find if I recognize people and ask about an event or hobby they told me about, then they normally are fairly happy to chat. Lamb Humor 1156 said, I remember weird details too. I recall telling a guy I absolutely knew where he lived and told him his address. I think he momentarily thought I was a stalker until I reminded him that he had briefly shown me his ID 2 weeks earlier. Then he laughed about it. So, yeah, I toned that down a little. Yeah, in general being positive works wonders on people. Adult life can really get people down and they definitely do like unloading. I love learning about other people, their circumstances and living situations though. I find it all interesting and I love making people feel better. Making them laugh. That helps to attract people in general. They want to be around someone that makes them feel good seen heard. Cerberus Cat said, I don't necessarily agree about having to be committed. I have more friends at 26 than I did throughout my entire childhood and teenage years, combined. What changed things for the better for me was embracing the awkwardness of meeting someone for the first time, and being honest and direct. So if I meet a friend of a friend at some point, and they seem like a cool person, but I don't expect to ever see them again, I straight up tell them you seem like a cool person, we should hang out sometime. Then we exchange socials, and the next time I'm meeting some people at a bar, or hosting a party, or whatever, I make sure to invite them, and use the time to get to know them better. You're probably not going to make best friends this way, but that's because adults don't really have best friends to begin with. Close friends, sure, but it's highly unlikely that as an adult you would have enough spare time to bond with someone to that extent. Whereas as children we had all the time in the world. Another thing I'd like to add is that not everybody needs constant interaction to maintain a friendship. Some of my closest friends I only talk to a couple times a year, but as soon as we meet it feels as though no more than a day had passed. Darkroomist said, don't compare your adult friendships to adolescent friendships. They will be different because you are different, your commitments are different, priorities etc. Like when I was late teens early 20s, if a close friend needed help I'd drop what I was doing and give them a ride, help them move, finish a project etc. We were like that for each other. Can't do that now. In part this is because I have my own family, 3 other people that depend on me for things. After they're all good, then there's time for friends. In a few years it'll just be one other person mostly as my kids grow up and start families of their own. I suspect that then friendships will change again and be more similar to those early almost familial bonds I made. I think media has built up unrealistic expectations of what friendships can be, well for most of us anyways. Also you may not fully realize it at the time, but if you want to have those storied, long-term, since grade school sort of friendships you have to pretty much not move away from your hometown. Sounds kinda dumb, but if your goal is to get out at Dodge you will lose touch with those still in Dodge, and while you may be able to pick up where you left off later, it's still not the same because you left off. Hodgepodge said, until your kids and their kids don't hang out anymore or switch schools, then leave home and suddenly those friends of convenience fade away. It's kinda like work friends. There are exceptions, of course, but with 4 kids, I hang out with 0 of the friends' parents that have come and gone in the last 30 years. We still are happy to see each other and make the we should hang out statements after catching up for 20 minutes in the grocery store parking lot and always sincerely mean it. Never happens. Always assume they are busy. They assume you're busy and life trundles on. Nobody 17 said, there are 2 effective ways. First, learn some skills that you were interested in but didn't pursue before, such as playing an instrument, painting, sport, etc. Then find a club or a place where people who are interested on that skill usually hang out at. Even if you didn't have any skills, go for hobbies. It could be a fan club or something like that, and you will find people who are easier to start a conversation with, and with you having something in common with them, you will look desirable to talk to, even if you had bad social skills. The thing you need to make sure it's more than a one-day event, like a course that goes for a week or, as I said, a club, and remember it's okay if most of them are assholes. Just like dating and relationships, you will get rejected a lot, and sometimes being disrespected, and that's okay. There is no thing such as the perfect girl or friends, they only become perfect by the connection you build with them, and as long as you put yourself out there, after a while you will find few people or even one person that you will click with, and that person can open up a big circle friends for you. You can be lucky with one-day event if you have good social skills. If not, Being seen in a place multiple times with having the same interests as the people there, you will look more friendly for people to talk to. Why do you think people get more friends in school or college? Just remember that it might take a while. As they say, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And be careful who you become friends with and never make it about numbers. I learned the hard way that one close friend is worth like a block of gold, but a million friends are worth like grain of sand. You already know what's more valuable. So to sum it up in a one sentence, be valuable around people you value, and that's how every deep human connection starts. Vectrain said. Join in activities. Running, cycling, hiking groups, training classes. Sports, volleyball, softball, curling, tennis meetups. Find someone you know, or a friend of a friend that golfs and join. Art classes. Dance class. Meetup groups for something you enjoy. Then when they go out for drinks or food after, say yes. You will not make new friends if you don't interact with them. While this may be the problem, you have to fix it by finding a way to be comfortable interacting with people. A good way is activities and hobbies. Why not? Father said. As you are older, you will have to adjust your expectation of friendship. You will not be in a position to form relationships over multiple, regular exposures in a shared situation. You will also probably have to make more loose friends than a tight one-on-one. You want someone to commit to you, but it's not like people are just floating around waiting for someone that needs a friend. Also consider much older people. OMG, the elderly would love to have people hang out regularly, and many are really quite fun. Cuttlefish said. Accidental eye contact. Remember cool things you've heard of them, or see them do. Forget about this event. Seize person on friends you may know a few months later. Add. But to share an experience with one of my best friends. He was 25 and I was 27, just as co-workers in a building of 700 plus people. We were waiting in line for a vending machine at work. All he said was, "I heard you play League of Legends." 3 years and we've been ADC support when we game, so common interests help. I call myself an adult nearing 30 but definitely does not feel like it. I can assure you, you are not the only one feeling this. The neat thing I do enjoy about social media is it helps connect people across the globe with similar interests. I think people discredit this way of making friends, and others may feel it's uncomfortable. However, it's one of the best tools we created, just so we can connect. In the physical world, I've found joining community events open up possibilities to friendship. Responsible for self said. You have to be the one to put in the work. As we age, we get busy, from spouses, to family, to work, to projects. It just takes time. There are people who will be your friend, but they are too busy to organize for you. Be the organizer, be there when others need help, don't get taken advantage of, and be someone people want to hang around. Granted, I am not a lot of those things, and I don't have a lot of friends. But I've made that choice to do something I want over choosing to be social. I value my time over social interaction. For instance, if invited to a baseball game, and you don't really like baseball, you go anyway to build friendships. Going out because you don't like baseball makes it hard to maintain friendships. BCS Wowbugger2 said. I would describe myself as an introvert, but I have never had a great deal of trouble making friends. First, I've held on to a select few school friends through the sheer willpower of maintaining contact. Second, I invite Facebook friends over to my house for food and games, a movie every so often. Third, and this is the one that seems easiest to me, I find hobbies and get very involved in them. Someone's always looking for a new member for their D&D group down at the local gaming store. Practically every gaming group in the world is desperate for more players. Do you like Star Trek? Do you like card games, but hate how expensive they are? Here's a friendly community for you. Many such cases. Show up, be kind and respectful, keep showing up over a sustained period of time, start volunteering to help out, and boom, you'll have friends. You won't be able to help it. If you then treat them as friends, care about them, help them out, show up to help them move house, organize the occasional outing to see the new Marvel movie together, some of those will develop, in time, into close friendships. BCS Wowbugger2 said. Work friends, as many comments have noted, are useless. If you are working too many hours to join hobbies and make hobby friends, you should stop working so many hours. If you can't do that because you will starve to death, Then, I'm sorry, I do not have good advice to you. P.S. Try not to move very often. Modern life often pretends that humans can just rip themselves out of one environment, move halfway across the country, and plug themselves into a new environment, like we're interchangeable gears in a great machine called the economy. This is a lie. You need a home, and you need stability in that home, in order to form a community around yourself. When you rip that community up, you are starting from square one, and it is a long road back. That's my hot anti-modern take. Moving is bad and we should do much less of it. Midas Smurf said, "It depends what kind of person you are. If you're a gamer, try playing some games where you're around people for more than one match at a time or one of those gaming bars. If you're athletic, check out some beer league sports. If you're politically focused, attend political functions, like county-level party meetings and whatnot. The key for me is having something that you know you have in common with someone to jumpstart the conversation so you don't have as much of that awkward what do I say phase." Bush Potato said, "Do adults forget what it was like to think as a kid? You went places as a kid. You saw people. You explored and were forced into existing around droves of people all the time. Naturally, we're bound to find someone to connect with when life is so busy and when there are so many people around. Go somewhere. It doesn't matter where, as long as you like the place and there are plenty of people to communicate with. Talk. Strike up a conversation. Seek out people, and then seek companionship among them. Play a game online and keep the mic on. Find a hobby, then conventions for similar-minded people. That car show coming through town? Go out with a lawn chair and enjoy yourself and enjoy the people. Anywhere you go where there are people, those people are willing to talk about why they're there. I mean, that's why they're there in the first place. Being somewhere and having people nearby means you already share a common ground to communicate with. All it takes is a bit of work and putting yourself out there." Slang said, "Don't worry about it. Focus on finding things that you enjoy. If the things you enjoy aren't particularly conducive to groups, consider trying something similar, but new. The best example is video games. Not a particularly conducive environment for finding local friends. But there are a lot of local board game groups that meet up pretty regularly. If you are in any moderate-sized city, there is a good chance you have access to different opportunities to find a group with some of your interests. Board games, bowling, brewery tour, hiking, college NCAA watch parties, poker games, running clubs, rock climbing, poetry reading, open mic nights, singing in an adult choir, Habitat for Humanity, soccer, kickball, softball, audition for a community theater production, volunteering. 4. From there, you might have to turn on the outgoing side of you and reach out to a group organizer. But the great thing is you can do that over Facebook or email. 5. Go do the thing. Don't worry about finding a friend. Just worry about enjoying yourself. People are attracted, both romantically and platonically, to happy people. If you can find happiness for yourself, your new friends will find you." SundayT said, "I recently learned this little trick from Jordan Peterson and makes perfect sense. If you want to make a friend with someone, neighbor, co-worker, etc., go ask for a little favor, nothing too big. People are generally happy to help because it makes them feel good about themselves. Now they know that you like them because they were nice to you, and so that's a win. Also, you owe them and they may well engage you for a favor in return in the near future. I love this. A great way to start some positive energy." Zanna 12345 said, "I know this sounds like bad advice to an introvert, but just talk to people you have common interests with. Play a lot of a certain online game? Join a Discord channel for it. Play Pokemon Go? Talk to people you find at stops raids. Enjoy reading? Google for local book clubs. Pick something you want to talk about and find people that share that interest. Again, I have to mention Discord. There are Discord servers for any topic you can imagine, and it lets you make friends and talk to others without leaving your house. It's been a lifesaver here in COVID times." SXTY82 said, "I made great friends playing D&D at a game store. Open Games. Google Adventurers League D&D. I am making new friends now. I recently started shooting high-powered air guns. I'm not a hunter or anti-gun. I do enjoy target shooting but do not want the responsibility of owning firearms. Air guns really hit my interest points. They hit hard, shoot amazingly accurately, and ammo is cheap. They are more complex than a firearm and tunable, so the engineering geek in me loves them. Through them, I have started competition shooting and joined a sportsman's club to practice shooting longer distances. I've met a cool group of shooters there. So my advice is start exploring your interests. Try stuff, join groups, and you will start meeting people that enjoy something you do. Next thing you know, you got a buddy. Flameseeker 3000 said, take a piece of paper. Write down your 5-10 hobbies. Then to each of it assign places where you could potentially find people to talk about your hobby. Good places online are Facebook groups, especially dedicated to your hometown like Chess Players Chicago or something. Other places online, other Facebook groups, there is really a lot of them, and most of them are arranging some kind of meet-up from time to time. Online boards, meetups, gym of your choice, dojo, if you prefer martial arts, swimming pool, Toastmasters, if you prefer to polish your social skills. Business meetings, conferences, meetings with authors, travelers. There is a lot of it. Probably because of the virus some of it may be closed, but hopefully will open up again. You can go there and meet new people, have a conversation on what you're interested in, and naturally some friendship should come up out of this. FarArt 3371 said, don't discriminate age. I'm 28 years old and my friends range from 19 to 70 years old. They all contribute to my life in some way and I care about them all. Even the ones where there is basically a VH1 special between our ages, teach me things and keep me grounded from becoming an angry old man. Basically, talk to anyone who is willing to talk to you. Be sure to listen as well. Friends will happen after that. Don't discriminate age. I'm 28 years old and my friends range from 19 to 70 years old. They all contribute to my life in some way and I care about them all. Even the ones where there is basically a VH1 special between our ages, teach me things and keep me grounded from becoming an angry old man. Basically, talk to anyone who is willing to talk to you. Be sure to listen as well. Friends will happen after that. Don't discriminate age. I'm 28 years old and my friends range from 19 to 70 years old. They all contribute to my life in some way and I care about them all. Even the ones where there is basically a VH1 special between our ages, teach me things and keep me grounded from becoming an angry old man. Basically, talk to anyone who is willing to talk to you. Be sure to listen as well. Friends will happen after that. Don't discriminate age. I'm 28 years old and my friends range from 19 to 70 years old. They all contribute to my life in some way and I care about them all. Even the ones where there is basically a VH1 special between our ages, teach me things and keep me grounded from becoming an angry old man. Basically, talk to anyone who is willing to talk to you. Be sure to listen as well. Friends will happen after that. Gracebourne said, I've found it to be really challenging as well. I do think finding opportunities to socialize around a common interest is a good idea. Just depends on your interests, the area, and well, you can network search online to find social circles that share those interests. Even then it is sometimes hard because a lot of adults have lives that are so filled with spouses, children, job, existing friends and other responsibilities they don't seem to have the time or energy available to build new, deep friendships with adults trying to add to their social own circles. That last part has been especially challenging for me. Carolynriley said, finding a hobby or hobbies. There is always a group or enthusiasts club. I have made a few friends from sports and beekeeping. Edit, some people I think are misunderstanding me. And that's okay. I was very brief in my original comment and I apologize for that. Now on to my original point. Making friends as an adult is not an easy thing to do. Between work and just trying to survive in general, finding the time to do extracurricular things can be difficult. And yes, finding friendships very well could be a one in a million thing for you. Sitting at home and wondering why you don't have many friends isn't going to increase those odds. You need to get out there and meet new people. They don't have to be people with the same interests as you, but it is much easier to maintain a friendship with those that share them. By joining a club or enthusiast group, you are getting an opportunity to meet people who already share an interest with you. And no, just because you like the same thing doesn't automatically mean you're friends. You have to build your friendships. And you build them by being proactive. Share ideas with people, offer help whenever possible, become dependable, Create group outings and invite others. Only then will you get to know people and learn of their other interests. You will eventually find someone that has more in common with you than you would have originally thought. So after you have built your friendships, you need to maintain them. Be involved with these people and be sure you make time for them. With all the responsibilities of being an adult, finding time for your friends is a difficult thing to do. Cuteboy said, I'm 26 and outside of college and grad school I have not made new friends. Before the pandemic I did have gym buddies but I never hung out with them outside of the gym. We were ways there to spot each other. Use different apps like Meetup or even Tinder lol. Tinder is only good for one thing. Meetup works well actually but the pandemic also ruined that a bit in my area. Video games where I hit it off with random teammates is probably as close as I will ever get to meeting new people and becoming friends with them. I'm not the kind of guy who will go out and play a random sport with random people either. Burnout Brighter 6 said, disclaimer, ignoring COVID here. Hobbies and or volunteering. The key is just doing things you enjoy and meeting people, not doing things for the specific purpose of making friends. Example hobbies, board game club, gaming group, rec sports, city community leagues or private, hiking outdoors club, photography club, art group, disc golf, local tool library plus workshop, community choir, local theater group, movie club. Example volunteering, environmental group, service club. To find these groups, Google, in, city, meetup, app, friends section of Bumble, app, local classifieds personals, local Facebook or other social media page. With a group, don't go actively trying to make friends, that leads to coming on too strong. Just enjoy the activity with the others and give it time. If it's a good group for you, natural connections will form with some members you have things in common with. Maniku27 said, well, I have a few friends online that I play games with, a couple of others who have just been there and we share our lives with one another. Locally, I can befriend people, I won't call them friends though. I do have this one friend I met at work by a miracle of hovers above we seem to click since day one, and share a lot of likes and dislikes and point of views. And we seem to trust one another more than your average person. I'm quite happy with him. Needless to say I have a crush on him too. He's got a GF though. Sad face. But yeah, can't say I got many friends either. Proper San 7123 said, I have restarted 3 times since I turned 20. Reason move to university, move to job, move in with a friend. I'm on the quiet introverted side of things. Things I can recommend is looking online for people with the same interests as you. We have the platform Meetup. I don't know if there is something similar in your country. At work, well, it's easy, at least for me. I have a couch in my room so everyone who needs a break is at my room. And since I have a lot of life experience, I am the guy talking to people through their problems. But it mostly depends on you, your attitude to the people, your flaws, quirks and strength hits, and being social. Be self-reflective, what is good, what is bad, and your social skills. Find situations where you can shine, and some baseline character development to be a decent human being is never wrong. If you enjoy board games, maybe start a board game evening at work. Look for the things that are natural to you. Most important, be yourself even if it is a mess at times. Don't blind people, don't lie, be honest, and people can learn to trust you. Trun said, meeting people at work, maybe not directly from your team but from other areas if you are worried about that. Say you are going for a drink after work at this place and ask if anyone wants to join, or meet at them at work functions. Go play a team sport at some local club, usually you have that in even the most tiniest barren cities. See if you have some other hobby places to go to like sculpting, painting, baking, whatever. If you already have a friend, go out to some bars, maybe ask random people to play pool against you. Now all of this won't magically get you friends. Introduce yourself to people, be friendly, try to be yourself, engaged, ask questions, exchange contact info when you can. It takes effort and energy and some awkwardness with certain people, but it can be done. Most adults want more friends as well.